resources, both sustainable and non-sustainable, and sell them. Just shoot them out of this province as fast as we can and sell them all over the place, and develop new markets in other places for people to buy our renewable and non-renewable natural resources. And I thought, well, whoa, I thought we were trying to reverse that trend. I thought we were trying to diversify our economy. We should be looking for how we can keep that stuff here. And let me give a bouquet to the government for the BRIC program, because that's exactly what we're talking about. That's taking that natural resource and keeping it here so our people get jobs, good, high-tech, well-paying jobs, so they enjoy a quality of life. And that's the kind of thing we need to be talking about, not continuing to ship our natural resources away to other countries. And often it comes back to us in a secondary or tertiary market, and the quality isn't even as good. And I'm told that often happens with food product that raw food product that we ship out, for example. So why on earth, how 1950s is it that this government is talking about their big new idea, ship more natural resources out of the province? That just doesn't make sense to me. And it is. They're talking about forestry. They were talking about agricultural product, wheat. They were talking about the oil and gas products. So I think the idea, and we're talking about those upgraders starting to come online again and be possible in the industrial heartland, and I think I'm quite excited about those upgraders. But we do need to balance that with very strong environmental protection, because there's a certain saturation point of those upgraders where you start to lose your quality of life, and the balance, the scales shift. So there is and that's the role of government. That's part of what government does, is that they provide what business will not do, because business doesn't make a profit doing it. So things like police forces and fire and providing municipal services and things like that, there is a role for government. And I know that my colleagues opposite think there isn't, and they want smaller government, blah, blah. Okay, fair enough. I disagree. I think there is a role for government, and one of those roles is environmental protection, consumer protection. That's what it needs to do. It needs to give a level playing field. It needs to be able to set limits on what the private sector can do. And a profit is not a dirty word. Lots of people, it's not the only word. And often I sit in here and I listen to people go, we've got to grow, we've got to make more money, money's the bottom line, it's all about money. No, it isn't. Most of us in this world work, that's true, we work to make money to do other things. Money is not the only thing. Profit is not the only word. There's other things that are important to Albertans, like clean air, like fresh water, like recreational opportunities, like spending time with their family. So money and profit is not a dirty word. It's just not the only word in the Alberta that I see. And as I said, I think that environmental protection is a big part of that. We need vigorous, muscular environmental protection that is action-defined. And this has been an ongoing quandary for the government, because instead of actually taking the action, the steps that people expect to see that would result in change, we just get another PR project. We get more spin put on top of it. And for example, I was expecting to hear in the throne speech that we were going to have a new Water Act. There's been lots of talk about it. We know that there's serious issues about water in the southern part of our province. We know that there's serious issues about FITFR, questions about it, first in time, first in right. We know that there is increasing concerns from one party and desire to have it from another side for water markets and selling of water licenses. I expected to see something about that in this throne speech. Nothing. All there is the government will continue to do groundwater mapping. Well, at the rate we're going with groundwater mapping, it's literally a decade or more down the line. One of the things that we have in our environmental policy in the official opposition is that we would invest enough money to speed up that groundwater mapping process so that we could at least get that information into our hands a lot faster. So the government, as always, is really fixated on money and on the stability fund. Sustainability fund. You know, I keep making that mistake because, and for some of the members that are fairly new to this House that were elected after 2004, you've got to forgive me rolling my eyes at you all the time, but honestly, I sat in this House and listened to Ken Nicol talk about the Stability Fund until I thought my eyeballs were going to fall out. But he was the one that kept saying, this is what we've got to do. While we're making new money, while we're making money from our resource base, we need to be putting that aside to level out our traditional cyclical economy. See, I can still hear that stuff. I sound like him when I'm talking. And he was absolutely right. And the government took it and takes credit for it now. And you know what? I don't care. I really am just interested in best practices. If that's what's actually going to move us forward and make a better Alberta for all of us, I don't care who gets the credit. I just want to see it put in place. So I notice lots of people now from different parties are talking about indexing AISH payments to the cost of living. Great! I can't remember who in my caucus started talking about that. I really don't care now. If I can get the Wild Rose on board with that and the Conservatives on board with it, the NDs already were. Yippee! Let's do it. So it should be about best practices for our constituents, not about some set ideological position that doesn't allow you to move from it. And on that, I would like to challenge the government